Hi, my name is Art Fields with Flexographic Trade School, Charlotte, North Carolina. What we're bringing to you today, and for the first time in the industry, is some hands-on, realistic training done via video. This program is designed to train potential operators, rewind, finishing personnel, customer service, salesmen. We've really tried to do an intro level to cover all the bases of the flexographic industry. Hopefully through this taping program you'll learn to use it as a tool, and it will be a vital instrument to bringing and controlling the training going on in your plant. We've designed this along with our vendors to take care of the basics. We will in the future be doing some advanced training video type of seminars on tape. But right now what we want to do is give you a good introductory to the flexographic industry, what it takes to perform in the flexographic industry, and the different vendors and sources you need to utilize to make your projects take off and run like you hope they do. From quoting to rewinding to packaging to running 4-color process, turn bar, whatever on the press that you have to do. We hope to have some training segment in here for you. What we're going to start off by doing is covering some of the basics of the flexo industry, some of the terminology, some of the things that I really see people struggle with. And people tend to struggle with these situations just because they don't know. Let me first start by saying that everything that I've done in the industry, or my instructors, or people we deal with in the industry, somebody has taught us or got us on the path to leading in that direction. It's important that you listen to your vendors. It's important that you get outside knowledge. The worst thing in the world you can do is start a shop and never do anything with outside knowledge. You're going to get into a routine where you'll get pretty good at what you're doing, but as soon as that changes, and it always changes, you're going to be like a fish out of water and you're going to really be lost. So we want to take some time and kind of help guide you on a training path that we use here at the school and that we feel will give some security to your managers, to your supervisors. We think it'll be really unique and great for your supervisors to give a potential rewinder a tape and tell them, go home. This tells you how to figure out footage, count, how to splice, rewind direction, all of the basic stuff that you spend a lot of time teaching people to where they can learn it at home on video. Now, experience will come in your shop and you still want to monitor and make sure they know it, but at least with the video training, you know that they're getting taught this particular process. This eliminates a lot of downtime for your supervisors and managers. It also gives some confidence to your people that you're training when they can take these tapes home and really look at them and study them. We hope to provide you some knowledge that'll help everybody in your shop, as we said before, and we hope that this program comes off to where it becomes a part of your essential training material. We also train in our trade school here off of these tapes. We're going to find it to be a vital process of training to help our instructors to ensure that the students are learning the same thing consistently. The number one thing in the flexo industry is building up consistency, and if you don't train consistent from person to person, then there's no way you're going to be consistent. The tapes are put together from a production standpoint, from a pressman standpoint. They may be short-sighted in some areas, in some opinions. We're not trying to solve everything with these tapes. We're just trying to get a start on bringing in consistent training into your plant, showing you some of the things that need to be done, the proper way of doing them. Hopefully you'll gain this from these tapes, and hopefully you'll be a repeat customer to come back for our whole training video library. With that being said, I would like to get started now with our next procedures to show you what we use and the common things that a pressman will be touching on a day-to-day basis. Thank you, and I hope you have a great time. What I'd first like to start with talking about is the essential gear that every pressman, every rewinder, your production personnel need to be familiar with, and your pressmen need to have at all times. First thing I want to talk about is some of the safety gear. Steel-toed shoes or boots are great. Not always required in narrow web especially, but I highly recommend them, especially for rookies or people using forklifts, pallet jacks, moving material a lot, handling dies. Steel-toe shoes should be purchased and made as an accessory or made to be worn by the people. Not all pressmen wear them. Not all pressmen need to wear them, but I think they're a big plus. Going from that, I think the second thing we need to look at that should be a necessity for every production person in your shop, whether they're doing lifting, minor lifting or not, number one thing here is a back belt, okay? And I just simply use it. You'll see me when you come in the plant. Keep it on all the time. We'll make our students wear them when they're running the press. As a pressman, I used to really just hate and thought this was just in the way more than anything, just because I was young and probably the rebellion in you. But as I've gotten older, I really find them comfortable. They give me a lot of security here, and they eliminate my concern of lifting things. Now, remember, even with a back belt, you need to lift properly. Lift with your legs, not your back. I think you should practice that, and I think you should practice it a lot. I think your supervisors should watch you do it and make sure you're doing it in the correct form. And we'll be showing you the correct form for lifting. But it's critical that you watch it, because inevitably that will cause downtime. You start having people get hurt, not to count all of the other logistic nightmares it causes when personnel get hurt in the plant. Second thing, which I use quite frequently, a lot of people do use, a lot of people don't use, is an apron. I will use an apron very, very often. The number one reason I use an apron is just to keep my clothes clean, leaning up against stuff, pushing up against stuff. It's dangerous. It will get you dirty. One thing you have to be aware of is when you tie the apron on, that you tie it so that once you tie it on, you don't want to have this stuff here hanging out where it's going to catch on something. So after I tie mine on, in which we use Velcro aprons also here, I'll take and just kind of wrap that up. And that'll stay like that all day for me. Pretty easy to put it on and off. I generally don't have much trouble with it. And then just take it off. I'm not running the press now, so I won't be wearing it. Next thing is another safety item, which you'll see me with these all the time. Safety glasses. I generally have a strap on them. I have 20/20 vision, so I really don't wear glasses that much. They are a pain to me. I wear these religiously, though, when I'm doing any kind of pressman work, if I'm stirring ink, if I'm washing up, if I'm mixing ink, if I'm handling chemicals. More than once in my career, I've had things splash in my eyes. I don't know if you can see it from there or not, but I left these glasses dirty from the last time I wore them. And you can see that there's multiple spots of ink and chemical that have hit these glasses that otherwise would have hit my eyes. Here again, while I'm wearing them and I'm around the press, I put them on strictly because I don't want to hang over and let them get caught in the press. Be very careful with them. This is a nice pair of safety glasses. They got a very high safety rating. They're durable. They don't break. They don't shatter. A lot of resistance to them. That's pretty much the safety gear a pressman should be familiar with on a day-to-day basis that's on their personal body. The next thing I want to talk about is some of the tools that they should have with them at all times. You should literally be able to walk up to your pressman and ask for these particular items, and they should be able to get to them immediately. Start with, I want to say, a pair of scissors. Okay, any pair of scissors. You'd be surprised how many times I go into a plant and see a rewinder or a pressman walking around looking for a pair of scissors. Issue them a pair. You know, in our industry, it's kind of funny because if you're a mechanic, electrician, truck driver, you name it, any type of construction worker, any type of industry that you're in, generally speaking, you're responsible for your own tools. In the printing industry, we tend to buy the tools for everybody. And in my personal opinion, that's a huge mistake. People don't take care of things they don't purchase themselves. They don't take care of things they don't keep up with. Things that don't mean as much to them because they didn't spend money on it. I'm a big believer in maybe issuing one set of tools to people, and then from that point on, they're responsible for it. but I do not believe in bringing a chest full of tools to the press side for something that uses 16 tools. Minimize your amount of tools around the press, minimize your amount of chaos. Them two things go together. If you have an enormous, we're not building cars, we're not NASCAR. If you have a NASCAR size tool supply, you will spend more downtime looking for tools than anybody else. Give them what they need, make them responsible for it. Scissors, they should have them at all times. And if you watch with this belt as I'm preparing this stuff, you'll see I have a spot for everything as on my belt, so I always have it with me. Second thing we need always is a ruler. Make sure your people can read a ruler. One of the normal, and believe me, it's normal here, things that we run into with students coming into our trade school is about 65% of them don't have a clue how to read the ruler. It's not taught in school no more, I guess. It's important that when you're interviewing and talking to personnel, even if they've been pressmen, make sure they can read a ruler because it's difficult to teach, and we're finding that out steadily. I can slide that in. I want to have it where it will not cut me. Next thing's a calculator. Now, your calculator and your ruler you may have laid on your workbench, and that's fine. You just want to have them get to it quick as possible. This is a very inexpensive $3 calculator. We use them all the time. When they break down, you throw it away, you get another one. Indicate your name on it somewhere so other pressmen can't be looking for it. It's vital that you have a calculator. Every time a job comes to press, you should figure out the footage yourself to count, whether you're in rewind, pressman, or whatever. It is the responsibility of the operator to make sure the count is right, okay? Next thing you want is a knife. Open razor blades, which me and my experienced instructors use them quite frequently, but we don't believe in them. Some of the older habits are really hard to break, and when you grow up using a straight razor blade, knives tend to be difficult, but we have retrained ourselves, and we use just little plastic knives, interchangeable blades. The blades pop right off. Every time we shut it, we lock it down so it can't cut anybody. This is a very safe way to have blades in your plant. Highly recommend that you go to the inexpensive, cheap knives. This simply locks in. I've got it with me.